This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
This is Meltdown Live. We are here with you on this Tuesday edition of the show, broadcasting live from the Culver studio. I'm Tim Melton. Joining me, a horde of my favorite friends. Horde. I want to make sure I get the D in there. Never mind. I don't know what I'm saying here. I'm going to start off with Tyler Lionel Johns. Tyler, how are you, my friend?
I'm a horde.
You're always showing your tids, so
I'm always showing them off.
This is already
This is
going
to be a
rails.
wonky show. I've been feeling kind of off the past couple days. Should I get into it?
Yes, I think you should.
I awoke the other morning to find a large bite mark on my stomach, and I thought it was just a mosquito because it is that season. Yeah, it was not. It just kept spreading and looking worse and worse and worse. And yesterday after the show, I ran to urgent care to get it looked at, thinking I got by a black widow. At least it's not a brown recluse. So I've been feeling very wonky. I don't know if black widow venom can make you hallucinate or something, but I've been feeling like I'm on a trip today.
I am very concerned about you because you didn't tell us about this until after the show yesterday.
Yeah.
We did not know about it until after the show. We would have probably told you, Tyler, maybe, I don't know.
Take a day off.
Go ahead and run down there and get checked out now.
There's too much that needs to be done around this place for me to just up and leave.
E.G., didn't you have a spider bite incident not too long ago?
Yeah, about a year ago. Got bit at the Masters.
You had to go to the ER, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, because my leg started spider veining down my leg and swelling my calf.
But they took care of that. So there's hope that Tyler is going to make it through this.
Yeah, you should be fine.
Yeah.
Well, keep us posted if that gets worse or if there's any sort of extra issues that you encounter, because we got to keep you primed, because we've made it this close to Superman. You can't crap out on us now.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this doesn't completely mess up my rewatch journey because, urgent care is always so fast. You're never stuck in the waiting room waiting for just an ungodly amount of time. But I've finished Superman Quest for Peace, and I'm about 45 minutes into Superman Returns. So it did slow me down yesterday, but I'm still looking to finish up.
Best part of Superman Returns is probably that plane sequence that happens towards the beginning.
Yeah, I just saw that, and it was pretty solid. Right now, I'm kind of sitting here like, why does everybody hate this movie? It's got to get worse, like towards the second and third act. I don't mind Kevin Spacey so far as Lex Luthor. I don't know why Kumar is in the movie, though.
Superman Returns kind of faces the same issue as Ballerina.
Oh.
In that inherently they're not bad movies. It's just the overall mission is flawed of what they were trying to be. Like, they're trying to present this as Christopher Reeve has come back. And this guy looks like Christopher Reeve, so it's Christopher Reeve, but he's in a modern setting with a different Lex Luthor and different Lois Lane, and it doesn't.
That's what I've been confused during this rewatch, is like, when in, like, I guess our timeline would this take place? Because unless it's specifically stated in the movie, it's always a good rule of thumb to say, well, it's set in its release year or its production year. So that would have us going from like 78 to 81 to
06.
It says 5 years later in Superman Returns. So what? It
doesn't
not
make any
set
sense.
in 1985.
No, it didn't make any sense at the time. It doesn't make any sense now of what they tried to do. What they tried to do was basically go, because Bryan Singer was such a big fan of the Christopher Reeve era and he had such an affinity for it, he just wanted to kind of replicate it and make his Superman 3. Like, this was the first requel that I can really remember being something where it's like, we want to make this, basically we're going to pick up right after Superman 2 and that sort of the thing, or 5 years after Superman 2. And it just the mission did not work. And once again, what you're missing in Ballerina really is John Wick centric storytelling that everyone's grown accustomed to. And what you're missing in Superman Returns is Christopher Reeve centric Superman, and you got this Brandon Routh. It's really no fault of his own, just the the mission of that movie did not work. And audiences are just like, oh, I don't understand what they're trying to do here. And it still doesn't make sense. Now,
there's even, during that plane sequence you mentioned, he gets on the plane and he does the same thing he did in the first movie. It's like, oh, I hope this doesn't put you off of flying. Statistically speaking, it's still the safest way to travel.
It's supposed to be Christopher Reeve's Superman.
Yeah, it really feels like they're trying to make it feel that way, but it's just not.
It's flawed. It just doesn't work. Audiences were too smart. They were smarter than what they were given credit, and it was a bygone era. They should have just restarted fresh, and instead they had to end up rebooting it again with Man of Steel, and now we're rebooting it again with James Gunn's Superman. We're going to be talking a lot more about James Gunn's Superman here in just a few moments, but we got to talk about a couple of movies that are currently in the Cineplex right now as we speak. E.G.,
Hey.
you got a chance to see the movie that I said would fit your DNA profile to a T.
Perfect.
Maybe your third, well, technically in your math, second favorite movie of all time, maybe F1, because you consider Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick the same movie, which is fine. I'm going to let you have that.
It's okay.
But F1 is definitely a movie that ticks all of your boxes, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I will say that's going to be a hard movie to not watch in a theater because of the immersion that you get with the sound and the visuals and all the effects. It was so good. I loved it. And it was long, but I didn't mind. It was nice.
Once again, you and Ush have had the same complaint that the movie was too long. You have not seen Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, and I would say that F1 feels like a breeze compared to that movie of time spent in the theater and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I feel like that movie, y'all would both enjoy that movie, y'all would really be checking you're watching that one going like, really? We're going.
I wasn't as cognizant of how long it was running until we got out, and I was like, yeah, that was pretty long. And there were just a few stretches I felt like I could check my phone. Yeah. But that was it.
The technical aspects, the visuals. There's one thing I've wanted to talk about with you for 2 weeks now about this movie that I haven't because didn't want to spoil it. And this is not really a big narrative spoiler. It's just something that EG would care about.
Yeah.
There's obviously Vegas scenes.
So good.
And there's a poker sequence.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, the minute that happens, you've got to be going oh!
No, literally. It sounded exactly the same. And I also called it. I leaned over to Megan, and I guess that is a kind of a narrative twist. That would take away from the scene. But I called the twist in that scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like... No.
I did. I was feeling the same thing.
Yeah.
He's letting him win.
Yeah.
Well, I just kind of did spoil it there narratively.
That's okay. But as it was going on, I was leaned over. I was like, no, he'll flip him. And
yeah, I was right there. I was kept leaning over to Hunter complaining. He couldn't really hear me.
What part did y'all high five at? I was trying to figure that out.
I don't know. There was some part where it was and I was just trying to get him. It ended up becoming a 5 out of 5 movie for him. I take a lot of the credit for that because
he got a great experience in theater.
Yeah, I mean, we watched it in a great setting. It was a fun experience. I just think it's when you take a step back, it's far from a perfect movie.
No, it's
script wise.
It's so predictable. But for me, and I think where a lot of my demographic, because y'all need my demographic showing up to the movie theater, is that sometimes I kind of want the predictability. I want the sit down
comfort food.
The comfort food.
Yeah.
And that I don't need a lesson. I don't need to be taught something. I don't need a sad twist. Can
I tell you what these movies are called? They're called crowd pleasers.
Crowd pleasers. Yeah.
And this one is the king of the crowd pleasers this year.
Yeah.
And there's no denying that. It is a crowd pleaser. Is Hunter giving me crap in the chat? I can see from your smile. I feel like...
No, I was actually smiling at a different comment. It's related to F1. I assume the name is Ad Zappin. Please don't use ad blocker to watch us. We don't get money that way. That's rude. He says, all these reactions of F1 say the same. It's a fun movie. Definitely not shills. Y'all get paid? I didn't see any of that Apple money.
Gotcha.
It's a fun movie. Well, you go watch it in the theater. It's an experience. We're not shilling for it. We're just saying it's a fun movie. Yeah. Is it the greatest movie ever made? Is it some great narrative experience? No.
I think also it's helping that this year there hasn't been super incredible movies yet.
Yeah, it's been a very mixed bag. Some high highs, some really low lows.
Yeah, if you don't like vampires at all,
Yeah.
then there really hasn't been a big movie for you to go see. Unless we're counting Thunderbolts. I don't, but
Well,
some people count it.
Memorial Day weekend, right? Lilo and Stitch, Mission
Stitch,
Impossible. I mean, those are two movies that are also crowd pleasers that have done really well. And once again, with F1, I just feel like there's enough there to where you get the sort of Top Gun Maverick adjacent
do.
life
Yep.
without having to. I mean, you agree with me. It's not comparable to Top Gun Maverick
No.
in terms of quality. I feel like Top Gun Maverick is so much better.
Yeah.
But
There's so many more layers to Top Gun Maverick, but I think because it was a sequel to such an iconic movie in the 80s, like it lended itself more to have those layers and like that emotional attachment. But F1, it was just an easy watch.
Well, I went and saw Jurassic World Rebirth yesterday while y'all were watching F1.
Yeah, we were there at the same time.
We were there at the same time. We did not see each other. I
saw
kept
you.
looking. You saw me?
I was on the phone though.
Oh, okay. I feel stalked or something. I don't know. I'm kind of. It's tough for me to blend
Is
in.
it stalking if she saw you from down the hall though?
Yes, it is.
So you walk in.
You saw me walk in?
You just didn't see me.
Gosh, that's terrifying.
Okay, now that does sound more like stalking.
Thank you.
I apologize, Tim.
Thank you. No, I mean, the fact that she didn't make any effort to acknowledge that she saw me and didn't like send me a text saying like I see you or something. It's just the fact that she witnessed my entrance without anything. Did you see me drink water going in? I don't know. You saw me walk in the lobby?
I saw you approach. I saw you enter, and then I saw you go up to the little thing. And
I hope you're never like a witness in my trial or something because
Yeah,
that's
how
awful.
descriptive. You
I don't
walked
want
up to the
I don't
thing
want to
through
give
the
too
thing.
much away.
I had a water bottle that I was trying to finish before I walked in.
Oh, okay, that actually did you throw it away?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw you do that.
But it was so hot outside that I was like, is it really worth it? I'm like, well, I do need the hydration, but I'm burning because I was in all black. And I was like, oh, and so I'm drinking.
Yeah.
And then I threw it away and walked in. But anyway, that's an epic tale of how I walked in to see Jurassic World Rebirth, which I got to start with the previews. Okay.
I missed all my previews, which I
Good for
loved.
you. Good for you. So AMC, we've talked about this. It shouldn't be a shock. It was already this way, but now they've started sort of putting a disclaimer that they're going to show 25 to 30 minutes worth of previews and advertisements before the movie. They've got this in the app now, very clearly laid out. And, as a movie pro, I'm like, I kind of am used to when a movie starts. They've extended it a little bit, but, I can still make up for it and everything. I get in there knowing I'm watching previews, and I saw something I'd never seen before. And I'm sure other people will be like, oh, this has happened to me. I've never had it happen to me. I'm in there, I'm watching the previews. The previews are playing back to back to back. And then there's a commercial
Like
or a
normal-
car.
Whoa.
Oh.
I've had that happen before the previews,
Correct.
like where they'll play like car insurance commercials.
Correct. And then there's another preview for a movie.
Whoa, I
don't
don't like
like
that.
And I immediately was like, this isn't the agreement that
No.
we've had as moviegoers.
That's taking you
No.
out of the moment.
It really took me out of it. And I was like, that's something I've never seen. Now, with that being said, I was elated about two previews I saw.
Okay.
One was for Jaws, the 50th anniversary
okay.
re-release.
Yep.
They did a modern trailer for Jaws to make it look like it's a modern movie coming out.
Oh, I need to check that
It was
out.
awesome. It is the mayor giving a voiceover while they're showing different imagery and stuff, and it is so good. So I love that. The late August re-release of Jaws, I'm going to be very excited to go see that.
Did you get the Odyssey trailer?
That's what I'm getting to next.
Oh, sweet.
So
I haven't seen it yet.
they show the, AMC fun duo going through all the different cutscenes, and then they show Nicole Kidman, and then they show again a preview screen. The following preview has been approved, and I'm like,
I think this might be a problem with whoever set up the playlist for that theater.
no, absolutely not.
You sure?
Yeah, hear me out. The Odyssey is attached to Jurassic World Rebirth
Oh,
specifically.
okay.
the first trailer for the Odyssey. So what this was exactly what they did with Oppenheimer with the movie Nope. They showed an exclusive Oppenheimer trailer before Jordan Peele's Nope in the same capacity. Nolan hasn't worked into his deal to where he gets to pick some big budget blockbuster to be able to put his first look in front of that movie. So it played literally after the Nicole Kidman ad in front of the Universal
Okay, I see
thing
what
coming
you're
across
saying.
because it's a Universal
Yeah.
movie. So it was by design. It was supposed to be this way.
Okay. Maybe as far as the car commercial being in the mix of the previews, maybe that's a playlist issue because I still haven't seen that, and I haven't been showing up late when I go. But I don't know.
Stay tuned.
It could also be something they've been rolling out for newer releases.
Stay tuned, because if you do see it, it's a very jarring thing, them mixing. And I feel like with them putting out the disclaimer of saying like, hey, we're going to do commercials and advertisements and trailers, like 25, 30 minutes of that before the movie, I feel like they're also painting the picture of it can be a mix of both now to try to add increased value to being able to sell ads in front of the movies. So anyway, just something that was jarring. Keep your eyes on it, and if it happens to you, let me know. But I hope it was a playlist error. But it makes me think that it wasn't. It makes me think that it was intentionally thrown in there. But anyway, I watched the trailer for the Odyssey. It is very much the definition of a teaser trailer. I mean, it is just like 3 shots, 4 shots, it feels like, and you do get to see a little bit of Tom Holland, and you get to see John Barenthal in there. And, they're in character, and there's a voiceover, and, there's some ocean, there's some darkness climbing a mountain. I mean, it's very vague, but the thing that really pops in the trailer is it's like Christopher Nolan, Christopher Nolan. He's one of those guys that can sell a movie as a director. And
Homer certainly isn't selling tickets these days.
That's fair. It feels like it's going to be epic, but it doesn't give you enough to really make you go like, oh man, I'm 100% in, because it just looks like any sort of standard period piece epic. I don't know. There was nothing about it that was like, oh my gosh. And it's meant to be that way. It's supposed to be Christopher Nolan's next movie. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And that is all I need to know. And I'm going to watch it.
Now, I have seen that Christopher Nolan's taking a different approach to adapting the Odyssey than you would think, because the Odyssey is it's not really a sequel, but it takes place after Homer's other work, the Iliad. The Iliad is about the Trojan War, and the Odyssey is about Odysseus returning home from the Trojan War and it taking him 10 years. That's going to be Matt Damon's character, and Tom Holland is the son of Odysseus.
He does talk about wanting to know more about his father and stuff like that.
Yes. So some scenes that are being shot for this movie took place during the Iliad. And the tagline, Defy the Gods, that has to do more with stuff that happens in the Iliad rather than the Odyssey. The Odyssey is more Odysseus needing help from the gods to get back home to his wife and his kid and take back control of his city.
Well, the whole thing was shot in IMAX cameras.
Yes.
The entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be... We're going to start to see stuff once the full trailer comes out. Once again, this is just a teaser. Once that full trailer comes out, there's going to be some shots that are going to make us go like, oh my gosh, that looks insane. I know that they announced today that Dune Part 3.
Dune Messiah.
No. Dune Part 3. This is the official. They've said that they will not call it Dune Messiah.
Oh.
That was the news today that came out like 2 hours ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Explains why I haven't seen it. 'Cause yesterday, I just saw like Dune Messiah has begun shooting, and it's going to be using full IMAX cameras. But
yeah, the second one was called Dune Part 2, right?
yes, because the first 2 movies adapt the first book.
Yeah. They're going to stick with that for Part 3. And I don't know how much of that is they don't want the Messiah stank on them, because Messiah takes a turn narratively where people are like, I don't know if that's going to be...
Yeah, not to mention there is, at the end of Dune Part 2, when, I guess, I don't want to spoil it.
No, it's been out a year. You're
Okay.
good.
When Paul turns at the end and decides he is going to use the influence that he has with the religious fundamentalists on Arrakis to take over, in the books, he says, like, the jihad has begun instead of holy war. They completely omitted that word for obvious reasons from the movie.
Yeah.
But
Well-
that would just be another example of them slightly changing what the book had in mind to better suit the audience.
Yeah, they definitely want to make it a commercial success and bring in as many people as possible. We'll talk about Superman here in a second and how there may be some speed bumps that it's hitting along the way of its rollout. But that's going to be a mess. But the number one movie globally right now is Jurassic World Rebirth. I was late to the party. Tyler, you saw it, 3 Mondays ago? Like something like that?
It feels like nearly a month ago at this
Nearly a
point.
month ago. It was late June. It was a screen unseen where Tyler went to go see it. They had promoted this is the screen unseen. They wanted people to see it.
They had hinted on the Jurassic World Instagram. They had hinted on, like, pretty much every theater chain had dropped a hint for their mystery screening, alluding to it being Jurassic Park. And sometimes they do like to do this, where a sequel that doesn't have a whole lot of buzz, they'll put it out in a screen unseen. They did that with Gladiator 2 last year to try and get good word of mouth on that as well.
This is by far the biggest movie they've ever put out on a screen unseen, even over Gladiator. I mean, the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World franchise is massive. And for them to do that in a screen unseen was kind of unheard of from a major studio putting out what was a movie that had baked-in ticket sales from the get, and their goal, I guess, was to create some early buzz. Instead, it was a little bit of tepid, this is just your run-of-the-mill sort of dinosaur action movie.
Yep.
So I went into this and got a run-of-the-mill, tepid dinosaur action movie. It's exactly what that was. The best parts about it are the things that tap the nostalgia vein from the 1993 movie.
Oh, yeah. That shot of the dinosaurs walking through the field with the OG theme playing. Yeah, that was my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, inject that into my veins on TikTok, even though I don't use TikTok. But like on an Instagram reel, even though I don't use Instagram. On a Facebook reel, I do use that. I could just listen to the John Williams score and be happier than what I got with this movie. It's no doubt a cash grab, and I don't know how much Altoids paid to be in this movie, but there's a character that constantly goes to his little tin of Altoids throughout the movie.
I hate that.
And
Snickers,
I'm like,
too. That
Snickers?
Snickers wrapper at the beginning. Yeah.
Clear
as day.
The product placement is there, and I'd already sat through a car commercial to get to this movie. But, it was like, okay. The characters are dumb. The motivations to get them with the dinosaurs are dumb. Everything about it is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
They have to figure out how to get humans with dinosaurs and they have to have a lot of humans. So that way you can have kills throughout the course of the movie. I do think some of the shots were really good, especially in some of the death sequences. Mm-hmm. The way the camera is used to keep it very PG-13, but also very jarringly violent, I thought was pretty strong. It's not the worst Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movie that's ever existed, for sure. It's very basic, very generic. Scarlett Johansson at times feels like she's in a little bit of a different movie.
Yes.
She's kind of like playing things tongue in cheek and like there's horrible, destructive things happening, and she's kind of like cutting jokes.
She's stuck in in her Black Widow character. She's like, oh wait, I'm not supposed to make a reference here. I don't need to cut all the tension with the joke here.
There were times where I did see Black Widow on the screen, and I was like, it was fine. It's a little whiny. The movie's a little whiny. There's some narrative. There's some dialogue back and forth that is very it's just whiny. I don't know how else to put it. It's just, and there's this one character that reminds me of American Idol season 1 runner-up Justin Guarini, and I'm like, Justin Guarini running around on this island, and he's immediately a dislikable character.
Is it the boyfriend character?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I could not stand him that entire movie.
Yeah, and that's by design. You're supposed to not be able to stand him. But then, there's certain shades of things you like, but then there's like, no, and then, there's this family that it's very much, it's a mix of like Kong Skull Island, Tropic Thunder, Why Him, and what's another one that I would throw out there? I don't know. It's kind of got that vibe. It's weird.
Jumanji.
A little bit. It's just got this weird vibe to it where horrible, the most psychologically paralyzing things that you can witness are being witnessed by people of all ages, and they just continue to move on to their next chapter of what it is they got to do on the island. So
they never stop and process any of it. There's no like, oh my gosh, I can't believe so and so just got eaten by a dinosaur. I've only seen a dinosaur like once in real life before, and I just saw him eating a guy. I'm not traumatized though.
See,
or affected in any way.
Predator is a movie that's important to me, right? And Predator has a lot of 80s cheese. There's a lot of 80s cheese in there. But it also feels weighty when they're being attacked and when they're trying to wrap their head around how to solve this. And like you feel the loss and you feel the... And this movie has the same sort of setting as a Predator. It's the same sort of vibe of, we're on a mission and we got to get this done. And it just I never felt the weight of that. And I would watch Predator 10 out of 10 times over watching Jurassic World Rebirth, which is, it's a money grab and it's proud of it and it's going to continue to make money, and congratulations to that. And I'll probably be seated for the next one, wondering why I'm watching anything past the 1993 original, because nothing else needed to exist minus that. Jurassic World was a nice dose of nostalgia to bring us back to it, but I really don't enjoy this franchise. I think it's the most top-heavy franchise maybe of all time, and Jurassic Park being GOAT tier and everything else being a waste of time.
It's between that or Jaws. But we got a question in the chat. Samuel wants to know, did you think those dinosaurs were going to hook up? Because I did. I was wondering how I was going to have to explain that to my kid.
I'll be honest, I thought I did watch them hooking up. I thought I did see that. I think they did. I think, hey, if you know what I'm talking about with like you know what I'm talking about? Okay? I'm not going to act it out because it's a family show, but I think they did. Anyway, that's at least the way I took it.
I guess that's the way Samuel took it too.
Yeah. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, I still feel very passionately the dinosaurs in 93 look better than the dinosaurs in 2025.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know there were some practical effects used in 93. I know there was also some computer-generated imagery used in 93. That stuff doesn't look as good. But, dude, the dinosaurs in 93 were terrifying. And in these, they're little menaces, but they're like computer-generated menaces. I don't know. I didn't buy that I was ever looking at a real dinosaur, really.
That T-Rex in the 93 version.
Dude, when the eye opens and like and the kids, I mean, just
messing around with the flashlight.
Gosh, the original Jurassic Park, it gets better after every entry because it goes to show you just how tough it is to make a dinosaur movie matter. And I've always wondered, like, why does Jurassic Park, why is it the only dinosaur franchise that really can do this? Like, why dinosaurs aren't copyrighted? Like, anybody can use dinosaurs. Why is Jurassic Park like the only one able to, or Jurassic World, the only one able to make dinosaur movies? It feels like we get a bunch of different shark movies. We get a bunch of different vampire movies. We get a bunch of different, why don't we have like a multitude of like bad dino movies? We got Land Before Time, which is a sad dino movie, but it's not.
I was going to say Land Before Time, but yeah, you're right. That's sad kids dino movie. There was Disney's Dinosaur, and then that didn't do well, so I think they sort of abandoned the idea of making dinosaur stuff.
The Good Dinosaur from Disney,
which did even worse than Dinosaur.
No one watched. So, anyway, I remember the dinosaur ride at Disney, which was it hurt my knee very much because I had long legs, and there just wasn't a lot of room in the dinosaur cart at Disney, and I just would hit my knee against the metal bar every single time some sort of fake dinosaur would jump out at me.
I think they got rid of that by the time I went.
Well,
because I guess that dinosaur movie was also short-lived.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many people even remember that movie these days.
They had Bill Nye the Science Guy in the queue, and it had replaced something with like ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise is the theme. I don't know what it was, but it was over there in Animal Kingdom. And they kept
Pavlik's in the chat. He could answer. He could
help us. He'll be on the show next week, so maybe we'll ask him about the dinosaur ride. I'm sure he's got the entire itinerary there. Let me tell you, there's some chompers on those dinosaurs. And I know you have chompers as well, and you need to get them looked at over by the team located on Grants Mill Road. That is Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, and Dr. Nolan over at Alabama Dental Associates. They're going to take care of you when it comes to all of your dental needs. Last night, Dr. Brian was not at poker, which we've been asked to talk about. We will talk about it here in just a second. But Dr. Brian texts me the entire time, rooting against me at poker.
I love that.
He's been sort of an enemy of mine at the poker table, but he's my friend when I'm in the dentist chair. And that's what's important. You need people in life that'll get you to where you need to go professionally while tearing you down personally. And I thank Dr. Brian for being that person in my life. And I appreciate him very much. You'll appreciate him too. Get to know the team over at Alabama Dental Associates. They really are the friendliest staff in town. They're accepting new patients now and can help you with all of your upcoming dental procedures. For more information or to make an appointment, call them 205-956-8977 or visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. Okay, we got to talk about poker real quick before we get to our main topic of the day, which is James Gunn's Superman and the rollout associated with it. E.g.,
Yep.
you were going into poker last night. You hadn't really thought about poker for a couple of days. You talked about how you were going to go in with a fresh start here.
Yeah.
You were going to try to execute at a high level. And the past 2 times you played, you finished top 3.
Yeah.
Last night, you finished top 5. But yet you feel like...
I feel like I got some unfinished business out there.
Explain that to me, because you've been top 5 now 3 weeks in a row, and you still are holding yourself to a standard of you're not playing your best game.
No, because I'm not. And I think that I'm not. It's like there's another level I need to unlock of my game. And
You're hitting a wall.
I'm hitting a wall. I'm getting stale almost with my strategy and my approach. And I don't want to like start tweaking too many things that just like blow up. But there's another like leap I need to take.
Getting to heads up is your next challenge.
Yeah.
You've won one tournament on a Monday night in the year and a half you've been playing. And we've been taking a lot of time off. That makes it sound like you haven't won a lot. That's not the case. Some players have played for years and years and they still don't have a single win. But you've kind of made it a mission that you want multiple wins this season.
Yeah.
We've got 10 games left in the season.
I know.
So to win 2 of those, that's 20%, if my math is correct, of the games remaining you would have to win. You're right in the hunt for a title. You're still in the hunt because of these top 5 finishes. I'm just wondering what's going to get you from surviving to the money to battling for heads up.
I think controlling my chips better, and instead of reacting to other people's moves and potentially benefiting off of them, I need to start making those moves myself.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, let's stay committed to it. We've got the week off next week.
Which
so
I'm not mad about because I'm not going to be here anyways.
Yeah, nice reset.
Yeah.
I finished 6th. You finished 5th. I
Yeah.
finished 6th.
Both made it to final table, though.
Both made it to final table. We played cash afterwards. We played a cash game afterwards.
This is crazy. Are you willing to share how late?
Yeah, we played from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. But it went well for me. So, I mean, that's why I was playing. It went well. So, I've been tracking my cash games since May. I've been tracking my cash games. I've played 17 cash games since May 1st.
Okay.
I have been profitable in 16 of them.
Yeah, that's
It's a 94% win rate. So cash has been my ticket, which is good.
Because you can make the money there.
But tournaments are that much more frustrating when you're having success in cash and you can't translate it completely over tournaments, even though I won last week. I want to consistently money and be at the top of the leaderboard there. So that's where we're at. If you are a diehard poker player or you want to maybe dip your toes into the water, if you're a proud Meltdonian, reach out to me. We'll talk and see if we can, who knows, maybe get some Meltdonians to come try out the club sometime, because that's really how we've grown. So many of our poker players have been audience members at one point or another.
Cool.
So cool. That's how we started the club, and we try to continue that. So reach out to me if you have any level of interest. We may be able to get you in for next season for sure. Okay, let's talk Superman. Kind of dreading this, to be honest, because I love movies. I love superhero movies. My favorite superhero is Batman, obviously. But I think every kid my age grew up and their first superhero they were introduced to was Superman. Iconic superhero. I still think on the Mount Rushmore of superheroes, people will debate that. But Superman is a heavy hitter, prestige superhero that without him, we would have very few characters. I think he paved the way for what was the future of not only superheroes in the comic books, but also superhero cinema with what happened with Christopher Reeve's Superman in 1978 and what has progressed to where we are today with a new Superman movie coming out in 2025. There's a lot of factions within the Superman fandom. Okay. There are people who are Christopher Reeve and Christopher Reeve only.
The Reeves purists, you got Snyder boys.
Correct.
And you got James Gunn Marvel transplants.
That is fair. We're about to reach a point where the movie's about to be seen by a large majority of people, and everyone can make up their mind about whether or not this Superman is for them. The last trailer that came out, I used the word whiny to describe some of the dialogue in Jurassic World Rebirth. I got the same sense with the last Superman trailer. It's a little whiny. There's a little bit of like, is Superman going to be someone who's very sure of themselves, or are they going to have a lot of apologetic baggage? What version of Superman are we going to get?
I hope not that one.
I don't know. I can't tell.
I don't want that one.
Could I jump on the internet and be completely spoiled with every aspect of the movie right now? Yes, I could. It's the every detail for it has been out for a long time. It's not the way I roll. I want to watch the movie. But with that being said, James Gunn has been doing a lot of press for this. He was talking about this movie. I want to make sure I get the publication right here. But he was talking about the movie with The Times in London and said the dreaded statement of, yes, it's about politics. And that is a quote that obviously when they got it, I mean, that's really all you need to be able to start to get some clicks. Because James Gunn said it himself. He said, this is the whole quote, yes, it's about politics. But on another level, it's about morality. Do you never kill no matter what, which is what Superman believes, or do you have some balance, as Lois believes? It's really about their relationship and the way different opinions on basic moral beliefs can tear two people apart. But there's also a flying dog in the film who wears a cape. And come on, Clark has glasses and people don't know who he is. He can hold up a building. He's wearing a costume. If I flew around saving people, I wouldn't make myself a costume I had to change into every time. There's something peculiar about a person who makes a costume. Clark is a peculiar guy. Now, just those statements alone isn't enough for a lot of controversy, minus the fact that he said that it is about politics.
Yeah.
And Sean Gunn decides to double down.
Yeah. There was commentary about immigration. Obviously, in our country right now, there's a hot debate between the political parties about what the future of immigration looks like and what immigration enforcement looks like, and playing by the rules compared to jumping the line, compared to who's already here, who should be here, who's coming here. That's not what this channel is, right? This channel, we talk about movies. But the Superman rollout has now become another avenue for those discussions to take place, based on the fact that James Gunn has come out and very actively said, Superman is an immigrant who goes to show the people, goes to represent the people who populate this country. And then it's just become it's become a tipping point in the marketing right now, where we're a few days out and the movie's starting to have a stank on it that it didn't have on it, because there are people coming out, including Clay Travis, who's featured on The Next Round every single Tuesday, talking about how, hey, I'm not going to see the Superman movie because this is obviously a movie that's not marketed towards me or people that share my views.
I'd be curious to see what the last movie he saw was, but that's a separate discussion that has to do with the faction Samuel brings up, the grifters, people who will just look at to outright dunk on a movie before it's out with no plans to even go see it or review it fairly. I think this is just a stank and a conversation this movie did not need. I honestly was seeing Superman as a potential uniter for people because, at the end of the day, Superman is an immigrant, I guess. He's an alien that comes to this country, assimilates, and then ends up representing truth, justice, in the American way. And ended up becoming a patriotic symbol for a long time.
We agree that immigration right now is a hot button topic in not only our country, but across the world in different countries. And for this to now be associated with the rollout of the movie, it's a misfire from Gunn, even if his intentions weren't meaning to disrupt the flow of the rollout of his movie. They have done so.
Yeah, I think, having not seen this movie, I think his statement is textually accurate. I think it's a bad idea to say because people are looking for any reason to get mad and make a YouTube video or a tweet about a movie, or just outright say, I won't go see it. And Superman doesn't need any of that right now. Yeah,
there's, and his brother also is going to add more gasoline to the fire because, the more people look into it, maybe based on who you voted for in the last presidential election, one way or the other, the more you look into it, the more divided the audience is going to become before the movie's even seen. So that's happening right now as we speak. I mean, if Gunn wanted the movie to speak for itself, you know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of directors telling us what the movie's about. I'm tired of them telling us, like, hey,
Civil War.
Here's what this means about you as a person before you even see the movie. Here's what you should take away for it. Here's what it stands for. Here's the underlying themes. Just let me see the damn movie and let me have some discussion about it with the people that I respect their opinions. And I want to have an actual sit-down discussion. We're going to be having that discussion multiple times this week. On the live show, we'll have a non-spoiler review of Superman. Afterwards, we'll have a spoiler review of Superman. There's a lot of people who are going to be sitting on the sidelines now because they go, yep, I'm not falling for this trap. This is bait. And you know what? They may be right. We haven't seen the movie yet. But James Gunn is coming out saying, yeah, it's about politics. And by the way, if you're a bad person, screw you. And it's like, well, who do you classify as being a bad person? So let's have a little bit more about that discussion. I mean, they're getting very angry here in the rollout, and I'm like, why? All you had to do is just not talk. Just let the movie come out. We've gotten this close, and now everything's blowing up, and it's their own fault. It's Hollywood's fault. Hollywood cannot just sit there and let people consume the entertainment. Did we have this problem with F1 with its rollout?
No.
Did we have this problem with Lilo and Stitch? We did have this problem with Snow White.
There was a problem with Lilo and Stitch, but not until after it came out. And that was a very mild controversy in comparison to all of these other movies. F1, you just got some promos of Brad Pitt and Idris Damson, or Damson Idris, whatever. It's one of the two ways, and I can never remember which one. They're talking about American food and Brad Pitt's love of biscuits and gravy, and it's good content. It's that sort of just crowd-pleaser content that the movie is.
Yeah.
And, it's very, I don't want to say upsetting, but it makes me walk into this movie thinking that it's going to be a message movie, or even if it is a message movie, that it's going to be one that likes to beat you over the head with it, instead of just presenting a good story with different complex themes and letting me chew on those and mull it over after I'm done watching the movie and then seeing how I feel about it. I don't want a movie to be spoon-fed to me either on the screen or in an interview.
Yeah, I don't need to know what the deep human themes are about the guy wearing the trunks on the outside of his suit. Now, I take this stuff seriously, okay, already. Mm-hmm. I don't need to be told to take it seriously. I mean, our whole entire studio is decorated in this stuff. And this is all my personal stuff.
Aside from the random posters I've picked up at screenings, everything in here is something you've bought and brought in here.
Well,
other than some of the popcorn buckets.
Yeah. What I want is for people to be able to go to the movies, escape life, have a good time, and I want that to exist culturally. I'm someone who will fight, and our best directors working today, by the way, are fighting for the same thing, for theatrical exhibition to continue to remain relevant. Nolan is fighting for it.
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve is fighting for it. You have filmmakers at the top of their class right now fighting for theaters to remain a relevant part of any film's rollout. When something like this happens and people decide, I'm not going to spend my money and I'm going to stay home and I'm not going to go buy the overpriced popcorn and I'm not going to bring my kids to this and I'm not going to invest into something that's clearly telling me it's not for me, it is a shot to that ecosystem for sure. Ryan Coogler is someone who very passionately cares about movies going into theaters. And he's probably sitting back cringing right now as having a huge Warner Brothers hit in Sinners going like, dude, what are you doing with running your mouth about, and keeping people away? People will show up for quality content. I know many people who voted for Donald Trump that love Sinners. Okay? And Sinners doesn't look like it would be something from the outverse that would be able to be a movie where both sides are able to come to the table and go, this is just a quality experience.
If you're stuck in like that sort of political grifter ecosystem on YouTube, that thought bubble, you would look at Sinners and say, oh, this is a movie that hates my existence and doesn't want me to see it, and it's just going to call me a bad person the whole time. Yeah. And then you watch it, and it doesn't do that. Sinners, it's not divisive in any way. It's just great.
Sinners was made for everybody and enjoyed by everybody, and there was no controversy because everyone goes, this is really good quality. Mm-hmm. I wanted Superman to be that same sort of Warner Brothers thing of like, hey, this movie can be successful on its own merit. And I worry that right now we're at a point where a lot of people are going to be staying home. So that's where we're at with James Gunn and his rollout, and he's going to have to continue now to talk about that as we inch to hours away from the movie releasing. We are getting, by the way, Kevin says Sinners was just okay. You know what? Even you, Kevin, who wasn't really high on it, still thinks it was okay. So that's nice.
Yeah, that works.
That
also,
works.
Haven't seen your name in the chat, so welcome to the Meltdown if this is your first time viewing. Also, welcome Joel Familia, saying the media made it into a big thing. It wasn't Gunn's fault. I half agree, half disagree.
Well,
I think
both things can be true.
Yes. I think it's Gunn's fault because he said it, came out of his mouth, but it's also these media publications' fault because they will do this with every star, every director they can get their hands on. It's what happened to Rachel Zegler, and then she decided to double down on it on her own personal accounts. But there are publications that are only surviving because they ask controversial political questions to big name, and that works really well in search engines, and it just gets the story it pops, it works. And I think it's really pathetic when people do that.
Yeah, look, he chummed the waters, and the sharks came. That's the way it worked. I mean, he chummed the waters, he said what he said, and it opened up the pathway for there to be some people who were going to feed on that. And we'll see if the movie, if it's good enough to overcome this bad PR going into it. Some people say, any PR is good PR. I disagree in this day and age. I really disagree. I mean, Snow White, once again, shows you audiences will stay home with their wallet.
Yeah, everybody knew there was a Snow White remake, and pretty much everybody knew they didn't want any part of it.
E.g.
Yes.
Superman.
Yep.
Okay? We've been talking about this movie for months. It's finally here this week. We're going to go see it. Don't you just want it to be good and enjoyable?
Yes.
And
I want it to be just a good, solid movie. Again, I don't want to be taught a lesson. I don't want to be preached at. I don't want to be taught something. I'm going to watch Superman save the world. Yeah. I don't care about anything else. I don't care who he's saving. I don't care, whatever. I want Superman to save the world. That's all I want.
And maybe we'll get that still. Maybe. But we'll let you know if we don't. Some of the early reactions are coming in here because the embargo has been lifted for Superman. I do not know if we have a Rotten Tomatoes score yet. I know that they have talked about they are releasing one today. I don't know at what point.
Samuel in the chat said 91% already, 55 reviews.
Okay, that's pretty strong here out the gate.
I did even see a positive review from a A1 James Gunn hater, Grace Randolph. For anyone who doesn't know, she's a scooper, an insider, likes to drop some salacious statements every now and again. And she likes to dunk on DC and James Gunn the way I like to dunk on Marvel, to give you guys an example of her vitriol towards anything DCU. She came out and said it was fantastic.
I don't know if that makes me more excited or less excited.
Yeah.
All right.
That is a good point.
Let's see here. I'm going to read a couple of these. Griffin Schiller says, while it took me a minute to get on its wavelength, there's no denying that James Gunn's Superman will define the icon for a new generation. A proudly punk rock rebuttal of the cultural shift towards cynicism and dehumanization that's incredibly on the pulse, raging with authenticity and sincerity. Okay, I don't know what to make of that review by itself. That's pretty intense.
I mean, you could argue that it's just anti-Man of Steel, since Man of Steel felt like a very dark, almost nihilistic take on Superman.
Maybe, but it may be...
I'm trying to just give everybody the benefit of the doubt, because I want to love this movie, and I want everyone to love it.
Sean Chandler says, Superman was my most anticipated film of the year, as it is our most anticipated movie of the year. I left the theater with a smile on my face. It's possibly the most comic booky live-action comic book film ever.
Oh, okay.
It fully leans into the wacky sci-fi. It really feels like a comic book or Justice League Unlimited on screen.
Oh, I used to love Justice League Unlimited. Okay. We're back.
DC Film News put out, Superman is flat out good, brimming with hope, optimism, and wearing its heart on its sleeve. It's a different kind of comic book film, one that truly feels like a comic brought to life. David Corenswet is superb.
He's super.
He's super B. Man's laughter. David Corenswet is superb. By the way, in my Jurassic World viewing, they played the Naked Gun trailer, and he does the looks like you went away for man's laughter. It's manslaughter. Must have been a hell of a joke or whatever. And this woman laughed so loud. I thought it was the female version of Boomer in there.
Oh, man. I love seeing people's reactions to the Naked Gun trailer.
Naked Gun, man, buy your stock. Okay. David Corenswet is superb, a Superman for all seasons. James Gunn nails the spirit of the character and this DC universe. So far, I mean, once again, I have not read these until right now. I'm reading them with you. Eric Davis wrote an entire diatribe. I'm going to just be very brief with it. James Gunn's Superman is the perfect superhero movie and a terrific start for the new DC studios. It's big, bright, exciting, full of hope, and it never loses its sense of wonder. Watching it felt like ripping open a comic book and feasting on its wild, chaotic imagination. Loved it. He talks about the universe being set up. He talks about, I've been curious about this. Nicholas Hoult absolutely crushes as Lex Luthor. So, you know, I'm excited about seeing what they do with Lex here in this new era. Someone who I respect a lot here in the space, Perry Nemiroff, says, Superman made me so damn happy. The movie's loaded with exhilarating action set pieces and well-placed humor and levity, but the beating heart of the film is Superman's humanity and his insistence on doing good and making the world a better place. David Corenswet brings such an infectious determination and warmth to the role that it makes that pursuit all-consuming and impossibly heartening. Making that an even more robust aspect of the movie, Gunn and company don't shy away from exploring the challenges one might encounter when trying to navigate our reality while holding tight to these core values. Okay, I mean, look, overall, I'm seeing a lot of praise, but I want to see it for myself. I still want to see it for myself. I'm not going to just take any of this and even heighten my experience even more. But if you're one of those people that was just rooting for this movie to completely tank, regardless of your political affiliation, but maybe you just cinematically like want to see DC fail.
Or maybe you're just still upset that they ousted Henry Cavill and Zack Snyder.
Right. This is not a great day for you. But could I end up hating it? For sure. Could Tyler end up hating it? EG end up hating it? We will see. Brandon Davis, Superman's a triumph for the new DC universe. Its comic book brought to beautiful live action life. Brimming with hope and fulfillment, it actually elicited tears of joy from me.
Wow.
So,
I got a negative review over here just to add a little bit of balance.
Okay.
Nick Shager from the Daily Beast says a would-be franchise restarter that resembles a Saturday morning cartoon come to overstuffed helter-skelter life. Not sure what helter-skelter has to do with anything.
Man, I was going to say, are we talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Beat me to it. You beat me to it.
There you go. I felt like I was at my local comic shop. This is from Caboose EK. Reading a Superman book as the characters leapt off the pages. What I'm hearing as a consistent theme here
is it's respectful to comic book fans.
It's a comic book come to life. That's basically the big takeaway that every single one of these reviews that I'm reading says. So anyway, here we are. We're a couple days out from Superman. We'll give you our full review for sure. We will be going and tackling this as a team, and we will let you know exactly what we think. Are you excited for this James Gunn Superman? Are you planning on seeing it this week? Maybe you're going to the Amazon Prime showings. We've decided to skip those. We want to see it Thursday with the live crowd, and we're going to do that. Let us know when you plan to see it, if you plan to see it at all. Some people deciding that there's absolutely no chance they're going to go support a movie like this after what has been a hot button issue that's been talked about and discussed even further there on the red carpet leading up to the Superman premiere. The embargo once again lifting. We'll have a bigger and better idea of what the Rotten Tomatoes score really looks like, because that's unfortunately a part of every big movie release of what that score is. A lot of people don't even know how that score sort of comes about. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we roll on here closer to the release. But it is a big week for movies. It is maybe the biggest movie of the summer coming out this week, and we will let you know our full review here towards the end of Meltdown Live as we wrap shows on Friday. Headed into SEC Media Days next week. It's going to be a very busy week for you ahead as well, EG. This is our SEC Media Days, Superman coming out. Everyone wants to know, is it going to be good? Everyone's asked me, hey, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? I keep going. I don't know yet. I bought up a lot of stock in it, but I want to see it. And SEC Media Days right around the corner. You'll have a lot of coverage there on your Twitter account as well as with TNR and Pennant Grace going strong. Promote a little bit about what you got going on here professionally.
Yeah, goodness gracious. Like you mentioned, this is my Superman event coming up. And I will plan to give you guys, a meltdown behind the scenes when I can. But we will be in Atlanta. We have the likes of Arch Manning from DJ Lagway in attendance. And I know that we were talking about, it's kind of obvious, they would send these guys. But it's still kind of crazy. Man, we have another Manning involved. So I'm looking forward to it. You guys can find all of that on my Twitter at MEG_sports. I'm really excited. And that basically means that football's almost back and all of our lives get a little crazier too.
Absolutely. Tyler, are you seeing anything this week before Superman, or are you gearing up strictly for Superman with your rewatch that you're going through?
That spider bite really threw a wrench into my my watch schedule. So I'm going to have to just plow through as much Superman as I can. I was planning on trying to see Materialist. I've been saying that for 2 weeks. I don't think it's going to happen. There's something about that movie that I just cannot sit down and watch.
Yeah, it's how I said F1 was the movie of the year for EG? Mm-hmm. Materialist, I think, is the anti-movie of the year for Tyler Lionel Johns.
Oh.
I don't think you would enjoy it one bit. I mean, I really do think until you get to the line about, you're just a pimp, until you get to that, I don't think you will have a good time. And it's going to hit you out of nowhere. You're like, oh my gosh.
Samuel says skip Superman 4. Too late.
Too late. Too late. You were on a quest for peace and you did not find it.
Oh, man.
The only Superman movie to never open number one. So there you go.
Gee, I wonder why that happened.
You know, there's some people still holding out hope that this Superman movie doesn't open number one. Spoiler alert, it's going to. So we'll see. It's going to be on the premium screens. I see Samuel also says he's going to be watching it tonight. So, hey, tomorrow, Samuel, show up. Let us know what you would grade it out of 5, and hopefully we can have some more banter about this movie. It's a big one. We'll be talking about it here on The Meltdown. We'll see you again very soon. Once again tomorrow, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern, right here on Meltdown 247.